it has been a long time because this year, we'll let that go for now. It is one of my favorite collabs of the entire year right now. It's 25 Days of Planner Tips, hosted by the Paper and Pen Girl. I am always so tickled when Tamara sees fit to invite me back for another year. So once again, for I don't know how many years in a row now, Tamara, thank you so much for having me back again. I look forward to this every year. I learn things from everybody's posts from this collab every year. The cat is walking this way. She had better not come all the way over here. You can stay there. So if you got here from Becca from WatchBeccaPlan, hello, welcome. Becca did day 4. So that would have been, sorry, the cat. So that would have been day 4 was from Becca at WatchBeccaPlan. I will put a link down below to her channel. So if you haven't seen that, please feel free to pause this. Go watch Becca's video first. I will also link to Tamara does day 1, and she has a list of everybody who's contributing for all of the days this year. Okay, so in her description box of her day 1, plus she has her tip for her 25 Days of Planner Tips. She's doing tip number 1. So that will be in her description box. So I will link you to Tamara. I will link you to Becca because she did yesterday's video at WatchBeccaPlan. And then tomorrow will be Chloe from ChloetryPlans, who I think that may be like the best username. I love that handle, ChloetryPlans. It just flows. I love it. So that is who is going to be doing tomorrow's video. So I will also link to their channel down below so that you can just kind of follow right along. So this year, Tamara chose planner switching as the topic for the 25 Days of Planner Tips. So I mean, it's not like I've never switched planners before. If you've been around here any amount of time, and it's been a long time that I've been making videos, that I do switch sizes. I switch formats. You know, I switch all kinds of things, right? So the point was not so much maybe the physical part of it, but you know, Tamara describes it a lot better every single year than I am able to describe it. So when you're switching planners, whether it be size or whatever, like what is your tip to make that happen successfully, right? So my tip was, and I learned this because I screwed it up many, many times over the years. One of my biggest things for maintaining a planner that works regardless is having a system, right? We've talked about that a million times. A big part of that system is having a dependable flow of information into and out of my planner. And I need it to be efficient, right? When I open my planner, I need to know if I get a piece of information that I need to capture, I need to be able to open my planner, write it down, and walk away, because that is probably about all the time that that piece of information is going to sit in my short-term memory anyway, right? So I need to write it down post haste. And then what happens to that piece of information from there? Can it just stay wherever I wrote it? You know, do I choose from the get-go when I get that piece of information where I write it so that that is where it will stay, so that when I have to go retrieve that information, can I retrieve it as quickly as I wrote it down to begin with? Does that make sense? Like, I want things to be really efficient, right? I don't want to need a piece of information, sit down with my planner, and have to try to find. I don't want to hunt around for the information I'm looking for. I also don't want to get a piece of information that I need to capture and hunt around and sit and try to have some sort of clumsy decision-making process about where should I write this so I don't lose it. I need that whole process to just be, right? It just needs to be, and it just needs to work so that I don't have to take the mind energy, the brain energy, the bandwidth of making these little decisions. Where should I write this? Will I be able to remember where I wrote it? Where did I put that? Now I need it. Somebody else needs it. Now I'm panicked because I can't find it, right? Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want that level of panic and stress in my calm place, which is my planner. I don't want that level of panic and stress at all, but I especially don't want it in my planner. So when we talked about switching planners, my first, I was kind of thinking this video through, and I was like, I mean, I've been in a lot of different planners. Now, they're not all here by any stretch, but I mean, I have done the little spiral notebook thing and like the Day Designer Mini, right? I've done Moleskine Pocket, right? I've done big old Moleskines, big bound books, right? Little bound books, personal rings, of course, like my all-time fave, right? Personal rings, traveler's notebooks, right? So, I mean, I've been in a lot of them and I've messed up the whole flow of information a lot. And it was kind of timely that Tamara suggested doing this topic this year because we've had more traveling this year than usual. And I wanted to be able to take my planner with me. I'm not going to travel without my planner. I'm just not, or I'm not going to travel without something, right? It's not like I'm going on trips that are so adventurous that I wouldn't take my planner with me, So, but I needed to downsize as much as possible. I needed to be able to throw this in any bag I own, except for maybe teeny tiny ones that I take to hockey games. I needed to be able to have this set up in a way that I still have my system intact to support the flow of information. Because if there's anything I need, it's that flow of information. Here comes the cat again because she is on a roll today. Frankie, don't. Come on. So if you already are in a system in whatever planner, right? And you're feeling the urge to switch. Maybe you saw a different cover and you really like it and it's in a different size. So you feel you're going to have to switch your planner so that you can use that cover, but you have to switch to a different size, right? Maybe you're like the position I was in was my planner was already fairly small, but I wanted to go down to like a passport traveler's notebook because it was kind of the smallest footprint I could kind of wrap my head around, because I needed it to be very portable, very efficient, small, to be able to travel easily with it and not worry about squishing rings and not worrying about being away and not having information I might need, right? So if you are going into switching planners and you already know that part of your system is this flow of information into and out of your planner, and you know that before you switch sizes, it's super helpful. It is super helpful to know that in advance, but it's not necessary, okay? Sometimes switching sizes is what teaches us those pieces of our system that maybe we don't even realize we need, right? And so because sometimes if maybe you're switching sizes and you're feeling unsettled in the planner you're in and you're thinking, well, maybe it's the size of it. It could be the size, it could be the format, it could be your system. Maybe your system has too many pieces, maybe your system is lacking something. And sometimes switching sizes can help solve that problem, even though you maybe weren't necessarily switching sizes to solve that problem, right? Sometimes using something different, thinking out of the box a little bit, will make you realize pieces that you're missing. And in my case for this, like I said, I always need to have a very smooth, efficient flow of information into and out of my planner. And going down, and I've used Passport before, but not overly successfully, I would say. This time it's going a lot better. And going smaller meant that process had to be really, really efficient, both in my, like the use of the space that I have. So that thought when you're switching planner sizes, and of real estate, right? How much space do I have to work with? That can really make your flow of information become very streamlined, right? And for me, that's been a biggie with switching planners is my flow of information into and out of this planner going to work without me having to expend a bunch of mental energy to make it work in the moment, right? So for me at least, and this is just for my cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs brain lately, maintaining flow in and out of my planner means when I get a piece of information, it goes in the place that makes the most sense immediately. I have a small inbox section, so if it needs to go just jotted down, maybe it's a bunch of garbled information and I don't quite know what I'm going to do with it yet. This is clean because it's the beginning of the month, but I slapped some inbox sticky notes here, so if I have an appointment come up, I'll just jot it on here. I don't need to worry about writing it sloppy in my calendar. I'm not overly picky about my calendar being sloppy, but you know what I mean? So, if it's an appointment, I might also put it in my phone. That's a possibility. But, I have a monthly in here. So appointments can go on here. They can also go in my phone. But a lot of times for me, my inbox is the best jumping off point, right? Because then it can either stay here until that appointment happens later in the month, or it can get relocated to a calendar where I'll see it when I'm doing like a monthly review, a weekly review, doing a weekly review, especially, and setting up the upcoming week. I'll see that appointment on the calendar. But I try to have kind of rules about where to put input so I can easily retrieve things later. If it's notes, right? If it's something I've been writing or something I've been working on, whatever. If they're really long form notes, I don't even put them in here because this is pretty small, right? Like the notes for this video, those are in the drafts app on my phone and my iPad and my laptop and whatnot, because they were long form enough and I wanted to be able to move them around. It was just more efficient to do it that way. I do prefer writing longhand, but when you're doing long form things, a lot of writing, if that is a part of your system, your planner needs to accommodate that, right? This planner does not accommodate that, but I have technology that does. And I'm doing loads of other things written by hand in here. So things go where they make sense in my head. So that's where the rules come from about the flow of information. It's just what comes most naturally. What is my gut instinct of where to put something? 9 times out of 10, it's in the inbox. If I need to go look up an appointment, I'll check the calendar first, maybe. If it's not there, it's in the inbox. It would generally not end up on my weekly without having a home elsewhere, right? I wouldn't jot an appointment in here because I don't look ahead in my weekly. Does that make sense? Like, I don't look ahead in here for, oh, hey, what time is that meeting next, in 2 weeks? So I wouldn't have that in here yet. I would have it in my monthly. I don't look at the upcoming week of this until like the day before the week starts. Okay. So that's an example of kind of having a gut level rule of the flow of information. So when I changed from my other planner into this, that's something I had to consider was, does it make sense for me to put stuff on my weekly, or does it make sense to put stuff in my inbox? And 9 times out of 10, it's in the inbox. And then at the end of the week or whatever, if it's an appointment, I can migrate it into the monthly if it's a couple weeks out, right? Because that's where I'll be looking. That's where I'll see it. That's where my brain instinctually wants to go for that piece of information. That maintains the flow of information regardless of what planner size I'm in. If I know it's something notes I jotted down about a video I was watching, well, I know that's going to be back here in the notes, right? So that would be, or if it's, journaling, if it's, whatever the case may be, that stuff's going to be back here. So I wouldn't go looking in here in my weekly for notes that I know I took when I was watching a video, a month ago. I wouldn't flip back a month in here and go, where are those? Of course I wouldn't. I know I didn't put them in there because my brain's gut level response to where those notes should go is not here, right? That's going to be back in here. So I feel like I'm rambling a lot and I'm really sorry about that. I'm clearly way out of practice. But my big takeaway tip, I guess, for changing planners is know your flow of information if it's possible before you switch sizes. Sometimes switching sizes helps you learn a better flow, a more efficient flow. But if you have something in mind going in about, okay, when I get those random, quick pieces of information, where are they going to go? It could be an inbox dashboard, right? It could be on your daily. That's how I did it for ages in personal rings. Anything I got during the day got written on the daily, and then I got dispersed to where it would actually live later on, because I wouldn't carry those dailies all year, right? I couldn't carry a whole year's worth of dailies. So that information would get migrated to where I knew my brain's gut level response would be to where is that information? Does it go in my notes? Does it go, on my calendar? That kind of thing. But for me, an inbox has always been really super helpful like that, or like a brain dump, an ongoing list, things like that. So maybe when you're considering changing planners, consider where that catch-all gut response hub is going to live, so that when you need it, you can just get to it quick, jot stuff down and move on, and not use your brain space for hunting that stuff down. Where do I write this? What should I do? And then so that also later on when you have to retrieve that information, it's not lost, right? Because then what might happen is you might have a great planner. You may have switched to just this whole setup that works really well for you. But if that piece doesn't work, if you can't find the stuff you need, no matter how much you love the planner, it isn't going to work, right? So I hope that is helpful. I feel like I'm really wandering and talking too fast, and I may re-record this whole thing. So like I said earlier, please go check out Tamara's channel. She has everything set up. I will link to the 25 Days of Planner Tips video below. She will explain everything for the whole month to you. And then if you didn't watch Becca's video yesterday, for yesterday's planner tip, I will have that linked down, or her channel linked down below. And then Chloe at ChloetryPlans will be doing tomorrow's video. So please go watch, subscribe, give likes to everybody, all of that good stuff, because we all really appreciate being included in this every year, and we also all appreciate your support as well. I hope you are all having a wonderful week, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.